paying attention to every word you're saying right now.
And
Chris,
will hold me accountable.
What is your view on giving crackheads free crack pipes?
I'm against it.
Okay, so you're against it. So I am now going to pretend, for the benefit of Tim Felger, I'm going to pretend that I'm for it.
Okay.
Okay, and I don't know how well I'm going to do here, but I'm going to try, Tim. This is for you, buddy. Okay. I guess the argument, Chris, is that if we give free crackheads or crackheads their free crack pipes, they won't die, and death is bad, and we don't want tourists coming to see the Olympics with dead crackheads on the street. And
because live ones are so much better.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying here, man. Give me a break. And that we don't want people to die because death is bad, and if we don't give these guys their free crack, they're going to get mad, they're going to break into my car, and they're going to, do all sorts of things, and we don't want that to happen, so we should just give in to their demands and let them have their free crack.
Oh, man, where to start? Well, hey, any crackhead who breaks into your car looking for something of value is clearly not rational. But let me see if I get the logic of this straight. Crackheads need crack pipes in order to smoke crack. Crack cocaine will kill you really, really quickly. But if the crack addict doesn't have a crack pipe, he cannot smoke crack. Therefore, he will die. I mean, to me, it sounds kind of like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I don't see how he's going to die when he breaks into your car. I see how he's going to go to jail when he breaks into your car.
In theory, if the police were paying attention. But again, the police are too busy on all these little property crimes and gang violence and all that stuff because of the drug war,
right.
Which we could solve, apparently, right now, today, if we just gave out free drugs.
It's the whole safe injection sites and all that sort of thing was tried in Amsterdam, and it looked like it was working for a while, but the last report I heard on it, I think I read it in The Economist, and it said that it's not actually the big success that they're making it out to be. I mean, there's pros and cons to it.
So you throw that, I read it in The Economist to sound smarter than me, Chris.
No, I don't. It's because it's my stepdad's a lawyer, and it just happens to be.
I have to have you know that I'm on Tim Felger's wavelength right now, and you can't compete. So forget about all the trashy magazines you read.
Yeah,
I read the Weekly World News, Chris, and I'm just as informed as you are.
The Weekly World News.
Which no longer publishes, by the way. Did you know that?
It no longer does?
They no longer publish. Online only now.
Oh, brutal!
I know.
It seems like only yesterday I saw it in the supermarket.
We did a tribute to it on the show and paid tribute to the greatest magazine that ever existed. What can I say?
It's a dubious distinction at best to be the best magazine ever, but yeah, I mean, of all the ones, I'm sure People was a close second, but
just barely in there, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the thing about it is, I mean, these guys who break into my car, they're breaking into my car not because they're bad people, Chris.
Right.
These are mothers and fathers and brothers and sons who just want a fair shake. And so they break into my car because they just want what's theirs. And if I just left them a free crack pipe on the doorstep, well, then I wouldn't have any problems, would I?
But now, see, a big part of this, like when you told me what the subject was going to be about, I was having dinner with my folks and talking with them, and I admitted to a massive amount of ignorance on the subject. Like I can understand how they were giving out hypodermic needles to heroin addicts, not to facilitate the use of heroin, but to cut down on the spread of disease, of HIV and other STDs. So that to me had was a little more plausible, made a little more sense. I can understand the rationale for it. It's not that society is somehow condoning heroin use. It's simply saying, you know what, we know you're going to use this shit anyways. So have some needles so that you stop giving each other hepatitis and AIDS so much.
Right.
So to me that seemed, to me the reasoning behind that was much more humane. This, it's much more pragmatic. And I mean, now, it's according to my mom, who's a nurse, but she's admittedly uninformed on this opinion as well, there is some STD spreading with crack pipes. I don't understand how that can be how, because as I understand how you smoke crack, you're just, putting your mouth on the...
Well, evidently what happened is one of Tim's friends, who apparently used to be really hot, and then she got into the crack and not so much anymore. But apparently, she used a crack pipe from a friend who had a cold sore.
Oh, okay,
and then she got a cold sore,
right.
And I guess there's an imminent epidemic of cold sores about to go around now because of this. Hence,
and through a cold sore, you can actually transmit other STDs much more easily.
Yes, Well,
it's funny that Tim said that.
So many things to say there.
Picking up an example of a person who was hot, and from that I also gather, sensible, rational, not crazy, and then started doing crack cocaine, and all of a sudden wasn't so hot anymore. And he's using this to prove some kind of point about free crack pipes. I kind of use his example as a point why crack cocaine should never be condoned by any rational society.
You said it now. I did.
The marijuana, Tim, it's not the same thing. Crack cocaine will kill you, and it'll do it really fast. Marijuana won't kill you. I mean, the worst it's going to make you do is, drive 20 kilometers an hour up a hill. I mean, it's funny because, Tim Felger does not do crack cocaine, I presume. I don't think he does anything beyond marijuana, and he's defending all these harder drugs.
Well, of course, we know it's well established. We know that Tim Felger is against this war on drugs, and he wants to legalize all drugs. We discussed it. You guys did a 4-part series last year on legalizing ecstasy because he thought that was a good idea, and I think there was a large debate you guys had about that. But I think, I guess in Tim's mind, giving out the free crack pipes is cheaper than not giving out the free crack pipes.
Well, see, the other thing, and again, I will, admit to a massive ignorance on this, but as I understand it, the reason that crack addicts are breaking into breaking into our cars, as they apparently are doing, although, I've yet to encounter that, but the reason they're doing that, I don't think, is to buy crack pipes. I think it's to buy crack. As I understand it, pretty much any glass tube can be used as a crack pipe. Like corner stores sell those little glass vials that have the little plastic rose in it for $1.
Yes, that's true.
And those are being used as crack pipes. That's the reason that you only find those in stores, like in pretty dingy areas where there's, a definite crack addict present. It's not something you find. Well, for example, I have yet to see it in a North Vancouver corner store.
Right.
It's the kind of thing you find, down Grand.
Well, apparently the crack pipe is like, you can get them for like $5, and the whole thing really nowadays, apparently crack's getting cheaper. You can actually get the whole thing for like under $10, I guess.
Well, yeah, crack is cheap. There's no doubt, but like the crack pipe is kind of, I don't think it's not like a syringe. I don't think. I think you can use crack pipes multiple times.
That's my understanding as well.
Yeah.
Being that I've never actually used the product, although I've certainly been tempted after debating certain people.
Yeah.
But
no, it's funny. It's one of those. I think it's also one of those ones that's incredibly limited in scope. Like, is crack cocaine a problem? Well, of course, it kills people. It's not. It's incredibly addictive. Blah blah blah. I mean, I have experienced a good number of drugs and have around a lot of people who have done a large number of drugs. I know nothing about crack cocaine. It's not, it's not something I'm that familiar with. I don't think it's, of all the things to focus on, crack cocaine seems like a really interesting one. I guess it's because it seems to be really, primarily something that's in the downtown, really with the poor, et cetera.
Well, especially with the poor, they're spending all their time trying to get food and stuff. They don't have money for like leisurely recreational things like crack. Yeah. So we should help them out with that.
Yeah, it's on the one hand, I understand the idea behind. I mean, I think we can move the conversation on from the whole crack pipe thing, because free crack pipes is asinine and idiotic. The real issue is free drugs. Like, the crack pipe is $2 at a convenience store. They're not breaking in to get crack pipes. They're breaking in to get money to buy crack. I mean, they'll find it's not like the pipe is the key part of the equation. They'll find a way to ingest it.
So if that's the case, then if they're going to have crack anyway, doesn't this fall in line with the safe injection mentality? We just give it to them. Here's your free crack pipe, whatever. Because the crack pipe probably costs, when you manufacture them in bulk, you can probably make a crack pipe for like 3 cents.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So why not just give them the free crack pipe then, and then they don't have to break into. They don't have to, I guess, not break into our car. We're going to do that anyway, like you say. But at least then we show that we support the local crackheads, we support the local drug community, and that they can come talk to us. And we have an open door policy.
Well, because
we understand you, crackheads.
Well, because it's a pretty ridiculous double standard when you go as far as that. I mean, like I said, with the free hypodermic needles, the reason that they were given wasn't to make it easier for people to use heroin. The reason they were given was to prevent the spread of STDs. Now, again, I don't claim to be an expert on this, but as I understand, crack pipes are not a significant transfer device in the same way that a hypodermic syringe is for the transfer of STDs.
Yes, it does seem to be all about the crack, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's totally about that. So once you